What's going on, everybody? It's Afro Think Tank. So, Mitch McConnell, he was walking down the hallway, and then a reporter asked him about, ICE and that whole situation. And as he turned his crickety neck, he fell. Okay? Busted it in his whole ass. Right? Then got back up, waved, and walked off. And I think it's indicative of the situation we find ourselves in, which is our politicians are old as shit. Okay? Now, no disrespect to the elderly, right? But the elderly, at some point, should be retired from certain professions, and they should be able to live comfortably, in their old age, playing with their grandkids and great grandkids and enjoying the accomplishments, that they achieved throughout their lives. But what we have here is a government that is controlled by some old geezers who just can't let go because the power is intoxicating. They're addicted to it. They can't let it go. Once they get a hold of it, they never want to let it go. And unfortunately for most Americans, these politicians are elected in districts where their constituents are also old geezers who will continue to vote for them because of facial and name recognition, and not because they have any kind of policies that benefit the American people. You see, we look at Africa and Asia, right? And we see these old dictators, we're like, damn, they've been in charge for 20, 30, 40 years, right? The Cameroonian one broke a record. We about to see, supposedly, the Cameroonian guy like 90-something years old, right? And he just lost, we'll see, to a younger guy, but the younger guy's like 70-something years old, right? I guess that's an upgrade, right? They went from Windows 97 to Windows 98. All right. Better than nothing, right? But I think it's time for term limits. It's time for term limits. We need cognitively strong individuals in the power, in control of the government, right? We need people who are like, cognitively aware. People who have new ideas on how to run such a large and important institution like a country, like a government, And I think that's our problem, because if you look at the private sector, right? The private sector shows ingenuity. The private sector can show you what humans can do, even though it's money motivated, but what humans can do when they have the motivation to innovate, right? There's all kind of technology we got out here nowadays. The private sector will show you that we should really be living in the future. And our policies should match what it is we are capable of doing as human beings. But the problem is, we got some old geezers, all right, who still think a beeper is bleeding edge technology, okay? We got some old geezers that's still going tap, 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 tap. That's still doing that, right? We got leaders who are running the country and making policies for the future that still got a flip phone they don't know how to use. That's the problem. So as we judge other countries who have old geezer leaders that can barely walk, okay? Barely walk, and we call those dictators, right? People who want to stay in power for life. While in America, we have dictators. Just because it's not the president, which the president is an authoritarian, and he's also an old geezer, and he's wearing a diaper right now. That's why he stinks, because he shits on himself all the time. That's the truth. Ask anybody. They'll tell you. He shits on himself. That's why he stinks, right? And so we need to start having younger. You see what happens when we have younger leaders? Remember when Barack Obama was the president? Remember that? I know white folks lost their goddamn mind, right? Well, the racist ones, the Tea Party / MAGA / trying to be purple. Shit, my ass, you motherfuckers ain't purple. Y'all red as shit, right? Oh, the neo-Nazi party. Sorry, the Nazi party. The Schnitzel-Lincoln party. All right, that's what the hell they are. All right. When we had a young president, we had progressive policies because that young president had children that were going to be affected by his future decisions, right? And that younger president actually have to continue to live after they become the president. So that means anything that they do they will have to suffer the consequences of it afterwards. These old geezer politicians, they already know they got about 5 years after they get out. Because they old. Real old. They don't care. Because you know what they ain't going to have to do? They ain't got that to deal with none of this shit. None of the policies that they implement. You talking about American debt? These old geezers ain't got to deal with the debt. You think Trump gives a shit about the $1 trillion debt? He ain't got to worry about that. He be gone. He don't care about his damn kids. His kids have already stole plenty of goddamn money since he been in it. Right? Right? Because they're thieves and criminals. So they ain't worried about that shit. Right? You think these old African and Asian goddamn presidents give a shit? Hell, if they get deposed, it was on their way out any goddamn way. They got about 10 years, 10 solid good years before either they die or they brain die before they die. They're going to get Parkinson's, they're going to get something, right? They're going to get some sort of cognitive degenerate disease. They're going to be up out of there, right? Warren Buffett just fucking retired, but he's going to stay on the board, though. Warren Buffett just retired. How much more money does he need? At what point? Okay? Because these people in charge have to put it down and give another generation a chance. You see, these old geezers stay in charge so goddamn long, they don't even give the generation that came after them a chance. Or the generation that came after the generation that came after them a chance. Or the generation that came after them, that came after them, that came after them a chance. That's why countries deteriorate. Because we still working on analog shit. Analog mindset. These people who are in charge grew up with horse and buggy. Okay? Horse and buggy. These people who run the country, they used to take boats to Europe, not the plane. All right? These people who are in charge will give you a peppermint if you come to their house. A peppermint. All right? They got a bowl on the table with a goddamn full of peppermints. The good kind, because you know, old folks be getting the best peppermints. I ain't gonna lie. Especially little round joints, them joints real soft. You chew them up, you gotta crunch them motherfuckers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? Keep that up. But either way, that's what they should be doing. Having bowls of goddamn peppermint when we come visit. That's it. Not running a goddamn country. All right? We need term limits. All right? You come in, right? You do a certain amount of time, and then you roll out. You know what happens if we had term limits? Lobbying wouldn't be so effective. Because if you was a congressman, because I'm calling it congressmen and senators can be dictators, little mini dictators, because they dictate their state. They dictate their districts, and they stay. Look at Lindsey Graham. How the hell does a sleazy, slimy ass, disgusting, cowardly, warmongering, LGBT in the closet gay dude like him continue to get elected? Because where he is, there's no competition. He's in South Carolina. His constituents are stupid. It ain't that many of them. They all old like him. They think he's a young whippersnapper, about to bring all kinds of new progressive policies that's going to benefit their community. Look at West Virginia. Huh? Those Democrats pretending to be, those Republicans pretending to be Democrats in West Virginia. I don't even know why any Democrat really called themselves a Democrat in West Virginia. They're really just Republicans pretending to be Democrats for like ceremonial sake or whatever. Look how shitty goddamn West Virginia is. They don't do shit. They don't do shit. They have no plans for the future because their future is in the past. That's how old they is. They don't have a future. They about to become ancestors and shit, right? They don't have no new ideas at all. Their brain don't even process new ideas. It's dust. That's the problem. We need new young blood, new young brains that operate differently, that grows up with perspectives of caring about the future and being invested into the future. And we need politicians that can't be senators and congressmen for life because they just so happen to be in a district where there's 5 goddamn people and they're all the same age. And the only reason they get elected is because they know their name. That's it. Because they know their name. Because, you know, these some of these older folk, they got tube TVs. They didn't even go get the big ass, heavy ass, freaking flat screen TV before the goddamn flat screen TV. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That big, heavy ass, silver fucking back TV that was just like heavy. It was ridiculous. Like, what was in that shit? You know what I'm saying? What was in that shit? They didn't even get one of those. They still got the wood bubble joint with the bubble and it's kind of round. There's a big old wood frame around. They got fucking old dusty ass statues on top of it and shit. That's what they got. All right? And they in charge. No. All right? You guys wouldn't hire none of these people who are in power at your corporation. You wouldn't hire none of them to work at your business to do anything, not middle management, nothing. Because you know age is undefeated. At some point, I'm going to get old and I ain't going to be able to do shit. All right? I'm going to need a fork and knife to cut my jello, all right? At some point. You know, ancestors willing. And I'm going to have to sit it down, all right? So, listen, we need term limits so that politicians who get involved for 8, 9, 10, whatever we do, 10 years, whatever, they can do their job. So what we ask them to do, they go in there and do it, and they can't be coerced by NGOs that say, I'm going to continue to give you money so you can be a dictator for life in your little circle of influence. We need politicians who are going to go in there, do the goddamn job, and get the fuck out. Do what you're supposed to do and get out, and then you can get rewarded in the private sector afterwards. You know what I'm saying? You'll have a legacy worth having. Instead of dying in office, these dudes can't even walk. Look at Nancy Pelosi. How is she still there? She can't walk. You ever seen her talk? She can't even do. She used to be sharp. She used to be sharp. Now, look, some of them sharp. Look at Bernie Sanders. I don't know what the hell he taking. I think he on steroids. I think Bernie on steroids. Like, I'm almost, look, if Bernie were to run, all this shit I'm talking, I'd vote for his old ass too. All right? That brain is sharp. All right? That brain is sharp. He's on steroids. All right? He's doing performance enhancement drugs for sure. All right? But other than Bernie, look, these motherfuckers is old. It's not fair that people are growing up, going from children to goddamn teenage to adults to grown-ass adults to damn middle ages and got the same goddamn politician that they seen from the beginning to the end. They don't know no difference. They got no contrast. It's ridiculous. We got to do something about this. We have to elevate the way politics works in this country. And it's global. Like global. This is not just America. This is politics in general. Every single country got this problem. But look what happens when a country gets a new leader, like Ibrahim Traoré. They have to take it. Hey, some of you young whippersnappers need to go take it from grandpa and grandma, like for real, just like he did. And look at the progress. 2 years. Look at the progress of Burkina Faso. Look at the progress of Mali. Look at the progress of Niger with younger leaders. It don't take that much. It's just a younger leader with a fresher, sharper mind. Somebody who can actually walk without help. Somebody who can talk without interpreters, speaking the same language as the people they talking to. That type of shit. You know? Look at Nigeria. We don't know how old Bola Tinubu is. He look like he in his 90s. All right? He can barely stay awake. All right? It's ridiculous. We got to stop letting these, and no offense, because I got a lot of older people who watch me. So I'm not talking about y'all at all. Trust me, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the ones in charge. They need to sit their ass down and fill up the little thing with the peppermints. All right? That's it. Anyway, that's all I got to say. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn some, teach some. I'm out.
My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
You guys better check on your boy, Mitch McConnell, the 83-year-old Republican senator. He just did a total fall in the middle of the Capitol today. And you can search it online. It's a searchable video. I'm telling you, can we start talking about term limits for these guys? And then he stands up and waves to the camera like he didn't even know where he was at. We've seen him just check out at podiums before in the middle of heavy conversations like, I'm like, y'all need to get this man under control. Like, how could you still keep propping him up in there? It's because he can raise money, and he can raise a lot of money. And that's been well known within politics for a long time. But he's 83. He served his country. It might be time for him to hang up his hat because he keeps doing more of these slip and falls. It just makes us look like we're we're taking advantage of the elders. It's almost like elder abuse by keeping his ass in. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. And if you search it up and you see it, come back and let me know what you think about that side wave that he did. He didn't kind of look like he was all the way there, did he? Wow, kind of like the president sometimes. Bye.
This just took place in Washington, D.C. 83-year-old Republican Senator Mitch McConnell fell down. It looks as though he's okay, but I think it's about time we can all agree on one thing. We need term limits.
People from all walks of life trips and fall. Back in 2019, Senator Mitch McConnell tripped and fell. The fall was so severe he had to undergo immediate surgery to repair a fractured shoulder. Yesterday, Mitch McConnell tripped and fell again at Trump Hotel, renamed Waldorf Astoria. Senator McConnell has been hospitalized for this fall. Trip and fall can cause major injuries. If you're a victim of trip and fall, contact us and we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call us at 800-33-30 LA Law to learn more.
Mitch McConnell, the former Senate Majority Leader, has fallen down a small flight of stairs after exiting the HUD Secretary's vote at the Capitol. His office is saying it's a lingering effects from polio and one of his legs, childhood polio, and that he's not going to be affected by it. They did not talk about any injuries at all. But, you know, a fall at any age is not good, but at 82, man, really not good.
Senator, is your head okay after that fall? Senator?
Why is the US government run by old people? Well, there's actually a word for that, and it's called gerontocracy, or ruled by the old. So what causes this? 1, people are living longer and retiring later. 2, it's easier for incumbents to get reelected and harder for new faces to break in. And 3, younger candidates are less likely to have a lot of disposable income to spend on a campaign. Currently, there are fewer than 30 members of Congress under the age of 40, not to mention that Biden is our oldest president in history. That's all pretty wild, considering the median age in our country is about 38.8 years old. Check out our YouTube channel for more answers to questions like
I have been a legal adult for 12 years. 12 years I have been a legal adult, okay? And ever since I've been a legal adult, I've only had a year and a half of no Trump. That was from 2014 to mid-2015. And then Trump came into the picture, and he's been in the picture ever since. So when you hear us talking about Trump all the time, it's because he has been our entire adulthood since I've been an adult. Mind you, the other guy, the old guy, Joe Biden, old as dirt, his biggest enemy is the stairs, has been running the nation my entire adulthood. So all I have a taste of right now is a bunch of old men running the country and destroying the economy in some way, shape, or form, or doing something across seas that is just outlandishly crazy. So when you see my generation pissed off about the older generation, it's because we are tired of y'all running stuff and screwing it up for the rest of us. We can't afford rent the way y'all used to. We can't afford car insurance the way you used to. We can't even afford chicken and beef the same way y'all used to. Eggs still expensive. Milk don't cost the same like it used to. We don't get paid the same. The pay doesn't even weigh the same. We're getting paid more, but it doesn't do anything because everything is 400 times more expensive. So when you see us angry and tired of older people, it's because y'all are running us to the ground and we want y'all gone. Okay, we do. No, not like dead, but we want y'all gone out of the office.
America has an old person problem. We have too many old people running our country, or should I say rascal scootering our country. Mitch McConnell, seen here practicing for his role as Anchovy in SpongeBob, had to be escorted away from cameras after freezing in the middle of a news conference.
A string of
Apparently, he later snapped out of it and was back to his normal self, oppressing black people and secretly wishing he didn't endorse Donald Trump. Also in old people news, Dianne Feinstein, or as I like to call her, Dying Diane, tried giving a speech in the middle of a Senate hearing vote and was told to just say aye. Unfortunately for what Dianne was voting for was all those in favor of carpooling with the Grim Reaper. Dianne Feinstein is so old.
How old is she?
She's 90. Why'd you guys say it like that? The only joke here is America letting a 90-year-old run our country. Feinstein, 90. McConnell, 81. Biden, 80, but fucks like he's 30. Bernie Sanders, Gen Z's favorite fun uncle, is 81 and the third oldest senator, which explains why that bird flew up to him. He's usually in the park feeding them. And if you get that reference, you're also old. Here's a fun fact. The word retiree was invented in 1945, which explains why none of our politicians will retire. They were literally born before the invention of the word. So how many old people does it take to screw over our country?
How many? No.
No, that one was rhetorical.
Somebody please explain to me how 70 and 80-year-olds are generally regarded as unemployable, yet they continue to exclusively run the United States of America. It's no surprise that there's so many bad things going on in this country because everything starts with leadership. And although I respect our elders, it's time for those guys to retire, it's time for term limits, and it's time for a new wave of vibrant leadership in the United States of America.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.